Hi, everyone. Coach Sullivan here again with MJS Coaching Football. I hope you subscribe to my channel. And I just completed my 38th year coaching football. I was a defensive coordinator, but I've also been either an offensive or a special teams coordinator. I've also been a head coach at both the collegiate and high school levels. So today in this presentation, what I want to talk to you about is one of the what we call A.F.Cs or automatic front and coverages to a particular formation. Okay. So to do that, we're going to just go through again. If you see my 3-4 pre-snap base playlist, this is all in there, but I'll go through enough of it again so you understand ultimately the reasons for check stack, which is our A.F.C versus a tight end off in 11 personnel. Okay. So we're going to go through how we line up versus the tight end on against all 11 personnel in this presentation. So one back, one tight end, okay? And then why we check to stack when the tight end is off in the formation, okay? Hence the A.F.C. And we do it whether they move. So in other words, the tight end starts on the line and moves off, or he comes out and starts an off, okay? And then ultimately, why we do it, how it has little effect, if no effect on the secondary or a detached outside linebacker. Okay, so that's what we want to learn about here today. So the key terms, again, just to establish enough. So if you see my 3-4 base playlist, pre-snap calls, again, this is in there in great detail, just not on the whiteboard. Me and the huddle playbook. I'll go through our alignment rules in terms of who goes where because we do not huddle on defense. Okay, we're a no huddle defense. So I'll bring that into the presentation. What's meant by a left or right call, what's meant by an off call, all both pertain to a tight end. Liz or rip for our pass strength. Gap terminology, so we know gap control, who has which gap. Okay. Our run support plan. I don't signal it. We have what I believe to be a very simple run support plan that's built into what we call a self-adjusting defense. So our kids understand when they're out there and it's real time how to adjust run supports based upon a formation. Okay? And then ultimately, what an automatic front and cover is, in this case, the reasons for that automatic front and cover check stack. Okay? All right, so I'm going to start up top here. And MOF, middle of the field, ball's in the middle of the field. We have what I would call regular spacing with the wide receivers, meaning in the middle of the numbers or on top of the numbers, middle or on top, okay? And that's in the top diagram as well as the bottom, consistent. The number 2 detached receiver is well outside of 5 yards from the tackle in both, okay? The quarterback is in the gun in both. The halfback is east in both, which is, you look at a map, right, of the U.S., East Coast, right coast, West Coast, left coast. And then what's meant by away. We don't say away. That's tagged into a huddle playlist call, but what it means, all right? And then ultimately, how the alignments are established, as I mentioned, you'll see there's no change when we check stack for a lot of our guys. Okay, so that's all what we're going to do here right now. So first of all, in green, I have the gaps. Now, we're not reinventing the wheel here, but we go 1, 3, 5, 7 in this case because it's a 3-man surface. That means there are 4 gaps. 1, 3, 5, and 7 gap. On the other side, a 2-man surface, you only have 3 gaps. 1, 3, and 5. 1 is the A gap. That's what I mean by not reinventing the wheel. 3 is a B, 5 is the C, 7 is D, right? So it's A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. We use numbers for this reason, our inside linebackers, okay? So when I get to the inside linebackers and our run supports, the 51 will play a role then. So let me first talk about our alignment rules here, okay? We don't huddle. What we do is what we scrum up. So the box personnel are defensive linemen, our outside linebackers, and our inside linebackers. They scrum together. Just no particular rhyme or reason, over the football, near the football. Okay? The four defensive backs in this case, by position, field corner, boundary corner, whip, and free, they scrum together 12 yards over the football, which is the depth of the safeties. So we have two different groups, okay? Our box seven, front seven, and our back four. All right. The alignment rules. This is for 11 personnel, and there's just little tweaks with changes in personnel, okay? There really are. Other playlists. 11 personnel. Rover and Mike go to the tight end. Boom, done. Right? You have your scouting reports. Number 85, look for 85, go to 85. Boom, done. Right? Backer goes away from the tight end. So there's, okay, 3 of your 4 linebackers. That's it. That's their rule. Defensive line stays left and right. End's always left. Nose is always in the middle. Stud's always right? That's it. And that's for all personnel. So defensive line, love it. Okay? Now, the dime goes to the lizard rip. So in this particular case, this brings in numbers 2 and 3. Okay? We have a left, 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 left call. So Rover and Mike go left, backer goes right? Boom, done. We have a rip call. Okay? Right R, rip R, right? Keep it simple here. L means left. Right? I mean, literally, we use left and right. So the pass strength versus 11 personnel goes to the 2 wide receivers in this case. Okay? 2 wide receivers. Run strength, pass strength. Okay? So that's why the dime is on the right. The free and the field, hence why they're scrummed up at 12 yards. Free safety, field corner, ball middle of the field, go to the lizard rip. Whip and boundary go away, middle of the field. Okay? Ball on the hash, automatically into the boundary, automatically to the big field. That's why they named that. Box personnel, same rules. Okay? Boom, done. So now, that's how we take care of aligning up. Pretty simple. Gap terminology. I'll get to the tight end off momentarily. Gap terminology and run supports. That's what's next. In our base 50 front, which this is, okay? So we have an 8, 4, what we call a 0 and a 4. So a head up on a tight end for us is an 8 technique. Inside linebackers are what we call a B split. So that means their inside toe is on the guard's outside toe, tangible landmarks. Inside toe, guard's outside toe, tangible landmarks. So you are literally in the B gap, B split. Okay, quick story. It's very quick. I'm at UMass, right? I think I'm a big wig freshman. Here I am, right? Scholarship. I can't. I'm getting screamed at all the time because I'm not lined up right. I'm too heavy. I'm too light. I'm too this. So I'm scratching my head in the dorm room one night, and I just asked my roommate to stand up. I said, all right, you're the guard. Let me just think this through here. So what I did, I said, I'm going to put my inside toe on your outside toe, and I'm tired of getting screamed at. So the next day, that's what I did. Not a peep. And I never got yelled at again because I lined up right. So it worked for me. That's why I've been coaching it ever since. Okay, tangible landmarks, toe on toe. Okay? So the first digit's the play side gap. They're C gap defenders. The 1, we make the nose right. Again, I don't want to get into too much of this because see my 3-4 pre-snap base call playlist. But they make the nose right. Between the nose and the backside inside linebacker, they cover the 2 air gaps. Okay? Boom, done. So now the run support. So for them to have, for them to have the C gap, the defensive ends have the B gap. Tackles the pressure key, guards the visual key. They take a little cheat read step as they're knocking back the tackle again. See my other playlist for details on that. Okay. The run support. Here it is. Sky unless. Sky unless. So it's always sky. Unless when it's 11 personnel, in this case, number 2 detaches. Okay, so he gets 5 yards or wider from the tackle. It checks to orbit. Oh, outside linebacker, orbit. You're in space. You're the contained guy, force guy now. Sky over here because 2's in the box. It was sky here, and then it checked to orbit. Anytime we say check, that means change. Check is change. Okay, we'll get into that when we get to the A.F.C. So whatever it checks to orbit, because 2's detached, now the safeties, simple alignment rule. Safeties love this. Secondary loves playing in this system because they learn how to line up on day one. It never changes. Instead of being 2 by 12 outside, you move 1 by 12 inside. That's the Ike. When 2 detaches, you move inside of them, protect the post. Okay? And what's meant by stack, you're reading surface to 2, and a run when it's confirmed, you're coming down, you stack your outside linebacker 3 to 5 yards depending, and you fit in where needed. If it somehow gets outside your outside linebacker, you're the secondary force. If the outside linebacker forces it inside, you fit inside. Okay? There's more to have to defend out there in space. So that's why we stack it. And the safety knows that that means he's part of the force. Okay? So that takes care of our gap terminology and our run support. So now we're going to bring in our A.F.C, the off call, and the reasons for check stack. First off, we talk about the off call. As I say to the Rovers, hey, dude, you line up on the guy. If he starts off on the line and moves back, you should be the one screaming it before anybody. Check stack. See, the safeties love that because they're always the ones hearing it from me. Hey, dude, you got the panoramic view. No, not in this case. This one's on the Rover. Okay? Even if he doesn't start on the line, when he comes out and he's off the line, the Rover's the first guy that should be screaming, check stack. Okay? This is an A.F.C, automatic front and coverage. And I'm going to get to the reasons as that we're down here. Okay? And so first of all, it's check stack. If the tight end is completely outside the tackle, if he's partially stacked the tackle, if he's 100% stacked behind the tackle, which Bridgewater State University does that. Okay? And then if he's even lined up in the B gap. So I'll bring that in momentarily. But now I want to utilize the red marker here. Okay? First of all, okay, formation's the same. Dallas is the same as Dallas off, except Dallas tight ends on, Dallas off. He's off the line of scrimmage. Okay? So check stack. Check stack, check stack, check stack. Notice there is no effect at all on 5 of the defenders. 0. Boundary whip, free, field, and dime line up the same. It's still sky. It's still orbit. It's still stack. It's still 1 by 12 Ike because he's detached. 1 by 7 Oscar, right? Middle of the numbers. 1 by 7 Oscar, middle of the field. 2 by 12 sky. Nothing changes for them. Nothing. This is the beautiful part of it. It's not a wholesale change, even for the box. So check stack. Both defensive ends bump to a 5. So it's a little move. It ain't a big deal. They bump to a 5. Changes their stance a little bit. Okay, now their outside hands down, their outside foot's in a slight stagger because that's their gap arm, gap foot. That's how we do it. Gap hand down. Okay, so up here, inside, right hand's down, left hand's down, but toes are even. Here, there's a stagger, outside hands down because they're a C gap. They're now the 5 gap. Boom, done. They are the 5 gap. What the rover, the mic, and the backer do, okay, left, 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 check, stack. Rover bumps back. We say gets even with the mic, so his toes at 4. The mic bumps away from, so he bumps right, which bumps the backer. So these guys just say check, stack, bump. Now he is stacked on the nose, hence check, stack. And the backer went from a B split on the guard to a B split on the tackle. So now his outside toe is on the tackle's inside toe. Still got tangible landmarks. I told the Mike, just have the ball between your feet, brother. Okay? Don't try and put your toes on the heels of the nose. He might have a wider stance. You're going to be all messed up. Now the Mike's toes are even because he's right in the middle. Okay? But that's it. That's what's meant by check stack. So why then is now the Mike a 31 and the backer at 31? See, this is the little bit of a difference here. And then I'm going to get to the reasons. The Mike, 1-3, is the 3 gap to the tight end side, or the B gap. The backer's lined up in his gap. He's got his own 3 gap. Okay? And it's still Mike and backer. So the Mike is still responsible for the A gap that the nose doesn't get if he's on the backside because it's over here, even though he's in the middle, right? The backer is still going to make the nose right as well. So play going to the tight end. If the nose is in his A gap, he'll be in the opposite A. If the nose is in the opposite A gap, he'll be in the near A gap. Right? Again, boom, done. The 71 technique, 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay, he's got that gap. He's tight off the outside hip of the tight end because it's still sky force. Nothing changes. Okay. So now the big thing. And it's still east and away from the tight end. East away from the tight end, east away. And again, the way we only use when we tag the huddle calls. Why do we do this, right? And it's an automatic. So you can sit there and say, so the offense knows you're doing it. Yep. And this is why. That tight end shuffle motion. And he goes here, he comes back. He goes all the way, he sets. The shuffle. Right? Or turn and then get square with the ability on the snap of the ball to come back or to come back before the snap of the ball. So all we do, again, we're trying to make it so our guys can play fast here and then play fast with their feet. When that tight end starts that bullcrap shuffle motion, all we say is bump. Okay? He doesn't move. The rover and the backer. And the backer doesn't move until the tight end crosses his face. Then he moves outside, and the rover's in the B split. So the tight end changes sides, rover and backer change with him. Tight end starts to move, rover starts with him. He's the only guy that moves. That's it. So what that says to the offense, you can do all that bullcrap stuff all day long. You don't really affect us much. 2 guys maximum, usually just 1, the rover. Okay? And in addition to that, now with a 3 linebacker configuration, that's a whole different animal for the offense. 2 linebacker, 3 linebacker. Now the whole blocking scheme's affected. Tight end off gives them the ability to wham block the nose, gives them the ability to bring in an extra way to get the counter. Guard, what we call GY. Okay? You still got a GT. You can still go shuffle, shuffle, come back, and then inside zone, leaking the off tight end into the flat opposite the ball, right? The little boot fake off the inside zone. Easy to defend out of this check stack. But that's why we do it. The ability of the offense to play games with the tight end, to wham block you, to make him the wrapper on a counter play, to get him into the flats, to start here, trying to break a tendency, and then have him shoot into the flat back on the other side, only affects the maximum 2 guys. Okay? Rover and backer. That's why we do it. Okay? So, again, as I said earlier in the presentation, I hope you subscribe to my channel. But I also hope you'll see my 3-4 pre-snap calls based defense. It gives you a lot more in the way of particulars in terms of pre-snap calls and how we line up and why and all that stuff. That wasn't meant to be a big part of this presentation. But the built-in part of our self-adjusting defense, okay, how our kids understand how to set the run support based upon the formation. Check to orbit over here. Remember, check means change. Just sky, sky, sky over here because it's sky and less. And then we're in 50, but the tight end either starts off the line of scrimmage or moves off the line of scrimmage. Check stack, no effect on 5 defenders. And now we're prepared for all that tight end shuffle crap. Okay? So please subscribe, and please, any questions, reach out to me, Coach MJ Sullivan at gmail.com, because I would love to talk football with you.